certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
And another episode of Rankum. It's going to be a fun one, Dave, as we're going to be talking about Royal Rumbles. And yeah, it should be it's a fun one today. So we've got a great panel here. We've got Jacob here. Jacob, how's it going?
It's going very well, Malcolm. It's been a while since I've been on a Rankum, so thank you for having me.
Also here we've got JTH. JTH, how's it going?
Going pretty good. Coming off a pretty decent Rumble last night. It'll be interesting to see what everybody thinks about all the other Rumbles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've also got Austin here. Austin, how's it going?
Yeah, going good. Coming off what I thought was a really fun show last night. So yeah, let's get into it tonight.
And last but not least, we've got Richie. Richie, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, always happy to talk about Royal Rumbles. Yeah, coming off a pretty good Royal Rumble. Looking forward to discussing.
Yeah, but that how the show works is we're going to go around in a panel, and each nominated Royal Rumble finish belongs on the top 12 list, and then everyone else will say yes or no to it. And yeah, but that, Jacob, we're going to go to you first. What was the first one you're going to bring up?
So I'm going to start out hot and heavy with this one, the 2001 Rumble. I think it speaks for itself.
We're talking about the whole event, right?
The entire show, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm just making sure we're clear about that. So
believe me, I asked Malcolm privately, like just the match of the whole show and the whole show. But I mean, there are a couple matches on there that I think are very good outside of the Rumble, which I think is one of the very best. So yeah, 2001 is my nomination.
JDH, what do you say about the 2001 Royal Rumble?
So even though we're reviewing like the event as a whole, I think most of these events will probably get on just based on the Rumble match itself, because it is kind of the marquee event. And as was alluded to, the 2001 Rumble, while not my favorite, is still very, very good. And obviously, you had a really good undercard as well. You obviously had the Intercontinental ladder match. You had the world title match between Kurt Angle and Triple H, was really, really good. And obviously, the best thing of the entire event, Drew Carey being on the show while he was in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, 2001 is a definite yes for me.
Austin, what do you say about the 2001 Royal Rumble?
Yeah, the 01 Rumble event is on my list. Yeah, one of my favorite Rumbles, probably like a top 5 Rumble for me. But yeah, I mean, even looking at the card, yeah, the Benoit Jericho ladder match is excellent. Yeah, Triple H and Kurt Angle is really solid. So I think as long as you have like a really good Rumble, either like one of the greatest Rumbles of all time, a really good Rumble with like one outstanding match on the undercard, or like a really good Rumble with a solid undercard, you'll probably make this list. So, yeah, as long as it's not duds all around. So, yeah, I'll go yes for 2001.
And Richie, what do you say about the 2001 Rumble?
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorite Rumbles, not just the favorite Rumble match, but just the whole, how it's broken up in segments. I think it's great. Kane's whole run, the Honky Tonk Man segments, the undercard, Dudley Boyz, Edge and Christian. The crowd went nuts for. That crowd is hot, man. This crowd is a great crowd as well. Jericho and Benoit is one of my favorite ladder matches of all time. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this is one I was just looking at the matches. This is one of those ones I don't think I actually have seen. I've seen various clips of certain moments of this, but this is one of those ones I try to get to as much different moments as I could. But yeah, I just haven't got around to this one yet. I'll definitely get around to it eventually. It's from the past, but it is going to make the list regardless. JDH, we go to you for your first nomination.
So my first nomination is a kind of a nostalgic pick on my part, because it was actually the first one I actually live streamed, kind of reacted to on a live stream, and it was ironically, I think I did it with you as well, Malcolm. I'm talking about the 2018 Royal Rumble. Had a really good WWE title match with AJ Styles defending against both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Was a really good opener for that show. And one of the things with the Women's Royal Rumble, even though it did kind of at times kind of show kind of the problems we have even today, which was the lack of depth with the women's division. Still think that it was a very necessary and good step forward for the women's division as a whole. Had a great winner with Asuka, and then the men's rumble itself, another surprise winner with Shinsuke Nakamura. Everything that happened at WrestleMania is a rant that has been long stated by many people, and I'm not going to give my cent and a half. But yeah, 2018 I think is a really solid entry in the Royal Rumbles, and I think is a solid entry to put on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, what do you say about 2018's Rumble?
Yeah, it's a little lower on my overall list when I was making this one, but I'll give it a yes because, yeah, the Nakamura winning the Rumble was a fun kind of fan favorite moment, and even for the historicity, if you will, of, yeah, it being the first one with a women's, Royal Rumble that is historic in nature, yeah, that opener is good as well. So I think, yeah, even in the kind of history of the Royal Rumbles, it's an important show. So, yeah, I'll say yes to 2018.
Richie, what do you say about 2018's Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I'd say yes, just because of how kind of important and kind of what a land, kind of historic it is. Yes, being at the first women's one, and yeah, and having a with the men's having a kind of a winner, that wasn't as that obvious. That was pretty good. It's sort of like why this, and this year's one was good. Like I don't think either of us on my most picked Jey Uso. He kind of floating about that he is in the picture, but he wasn't obvious. So I know, and I liked that. So and then the undercard, some of the undercard is pretty good. So I'd say yes.
This is I actually covered this. I think it was the last episode of Spears of the Past last year that I covered this one. And yeah, this one I thought was a lot of fun. It definitely showed, especially when you compare the Women's Rumble from this year to that year, because it shows that they didn't have a lot of depth. I mean, they started doing the Rumble then, but because they did rely on a lot of the legends. But now, with so much of the stacked women's roster we've got now, especially with a lot of the great NXT people we had that popped up as well, it definitely shows the different change. But I really enjoyed this Rumble. I thought it was a lot of fun, and yeah, a lot of the undercard matches I think were good as well as the Rumbles themselves being a lot of fun. Jacob, what do you say about 2018's Rumble?
I legit forgot what went down in the 2018 one, but then I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh, Asuka won the first Rumble. So yeah, that was a good one. And the rest of the show is quite good itself. But as a huge Asuka fan, yeah, I'd say yes to that.
I've got my Wikipedia open on another tab just to keep myself abreast of the results of each one so I can remind myself as we go. Yeah, I'm just typing them in as we go.
But for that, Austin, we're going to go to you next. What is the next?
Yeah, no, I'm going to go just a year earlier than one that was already mentioned. I'm going to go with the 2000 Royal Rumble. As an event as a whole, you're at Madison Square Garden. You have the Taz debut opening the show with Kurt Angle, which is a great way to open. You have a really fun Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys tag team tables match, which is kind of a precursor to the TLC stuff we would get, later on that year. And they tear the house down, have a lot of fun. You have one of me and Richie, I think, would agree, one of our favorite matches of all time, Triple H Cactus Jack Street Fight, which is just an incredible match. Maybe one of the best, just outside of the Royal Rumble, one of the best matches at a Rumble. And then you have a really solid Rumble, fun kind of Attitude Era Rumble, with The Rock winning. So, overall, it's a very entertaining card, top to bottom, with a great 5-star match kind of in the middle of it. So, I'll say the 2000 Rumble.
Richie, what do you say about the 2000 Rumble?
It's funny, Royal Rumble 2000 is probably got one of the best undercards, because it's probably one of the events where the Royal Rumble is maybe the weaker part of it, almost the weakest match of the show. But it's good, it's still good. But yeah, the actual undercard is fantastic for the most part. That Cactus Jack Triple H match just fucking rules. The Taz debut. Couldn't debut him like any better. Just shame didn't capitalize on it. But like, yeah, it's fantastic. And like while the Rumble isn't like held up in like high esteem, it's still fun. Like in segments, the whole like running joke of Kai interfering. Unfortunately, Tony Machoke had to go to the hospital. But and then the controversial Wade Rock one, and like they probably were kind of low on stars at that point because Austin was out, Undertaker was out at that point. But it's still a very fun Rumble to watch. And I probably watched it more than any other Rumble, just because I like that event in general, and and that Rumble is kind of it is fun. So I'll say yes.
Is this one we watched? Spend a lot of time outside of the ring during the Rumble match and just sort of came in. Or was it that a different one I'm thinking of?
You say The Rock?
The Rock?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if The Rock ever did. Did The Rock stay out? I know the Road Dogg was like stayed like in the corner most of the time in this man. I don't know.
Yeah. So it might be a different one that I'm thinking of. The reason I ask is I'm pretty sure I've seen the actual one. I think I might have seen the actual Rumble match for this one. I'm not sure. I've probably seen a couple of these matches before on various compilation albums, but I just haven't seen this entire Rumble. But Jacob, what do you say about 2000's Rumble?
Yeah, easy yes for me. It has one of my favorite swanton bombs that Jeff Hardy ever delivered. It was at the top of that little concourse thing onto Bubba Ray through the table. Thing of beauty right there.
And JDH, what do you say about 2000's Rumble?
Triple H versus Cactus Jack alone makes this a yes for me, but I'm probably in the minority with a lot of people. I don't really think this is a great show. I actually think the Rumble itself is quite bad, actually, as it kind of was alluded to. It kind of represented all the problems that the WWE had at the time, where there was just no star power, there's no main eventers. It's like the Rumble really didn't get going until The Rock came out, and it's just, and of course, it was really the only one that could actually win, and didn't actually win. Big Show actually won, but that's again. But but because of the street fight alone, it's a yes. But it's kind of mid-level for me.
That Royal Rumble 2000 is going to make it in on the list. And Richie, we go to you. What is your first nomination?
I'm gonna go a few years after that, and I'm gonna hunt for 2005. This was the year where Batista won, and it's the infamous one where they both went out, and Vince ran in very angry, legit angry, and then blew up both his quads. But up beyond that, like Rumble, you've got like Edge and Shawn Michaels. So it's a really good match. JBL's fans get a Big Show and Kurt Angle, which is solid. You got Undertaker and Heidenreich, but kind of everything. But Triple H and Randy Orton have a decent match. Just for Edge and Shawn Michaels and the actual and the Royal Rumble itself, I think the Royal Rumble itself was fun, and it establishes Batista as like this huge, this kind of like next sort of like big star, and the build and it starts to build between like the babyface turn of Batista, which I think is one of the best babyface turns they've done in probably ever. I love that babyface turn of Batista. So, and this is where it started, and I love this Rumble. So I'm going to 2005.
Yeah, no, this is one I definitely I actually watched this one for this, and I will say I miss especially watching the recent Rumbles. Like I miss when they used to do the segments of them drawing the numbers, and that was always a fun thing, just seeing all these characters bring their numbers. Especially in this one, you've got Eddie Guerrero just stealing Ric Flair's number, then trying to chase him down later on. This was such a fun pay-per-view, and it's one of those ones like and this is once again, I'm going to try to keep my foot brief on it as well, but I'll definitely go more into depth when we eventually hit these on different paths. But I didn't completely hate the Heidenreich Undertaker casket match, but I also get that technically wasn't that good either. um, but yeah, but I'm definitely going to say yes to this one. Jacob, what do you say about Rumble from 2005?
The Undertaker had worse stuff to deal with in the 2000s. I think we all can agree. Heidenreich was not a valley, but it was a valley, but not the deepest valley. But that's a story for another time. I'd say this should belong on this list. The Eddie Guerrero Ric Flair stuff, obviously. I actually liked the three-way. I just recently rewatched it for something, and it was better than I remembered it being.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, yeah, I would say this belongs here.
JJ, what do you say about the Royal Rumble from 2005?
As a person that was an Edge fan pretty much since he came up, this was one of my favorite events at that time because this was Edge's coming out party, kind of showing that he was really a person that was on a big trajectory upwards. So he had a great, victory against Shawn Michaels. Had a great showing in the Rumble. I think he came in at like 3 or something. It went almost an hour. And yeah, the undercard itself minus the casket match. It is hard to believe also that JBL arguably put on a better title match than Triple H did at this time. But yeah, it's a good show overall, and yeah, I would definitely say yes to it.
And Austin, what do you say about Royal Rumble from 2005?
No, it's one of my favorite just Rumble matches. Like, it's a top 5 Rumble match. It's one I probably watched almost more than any other Rumble because I just think it's really well booked. And one of the two that features Jim Ross and Taz on commentary. And I think they actually had really good chemistry during both the Rumbles that they called and had a lot of fun. And yeah, that undercard is pretty solid. Yeah, just Shawn Michaels and whatnot. So, yeah, again, if you're talking about one of my favorite Rumbles and a decent undercard, it's going to get a yes.
That Royal Rumble 2005 is going to make it on. If that comes down to me, I'm going to go for. I don't know how this one's going to go, but I'm going to go for a relatively recent one. But I'm going to go for 2003's Rumble. Well, yes, you had Bray Wyatt and LA Knight in the pitch black match.
23, I think it's 2000.
I thought you said 2003.
Oh,
Yeah, I could have sworn you said that. Maybe cut out.
No, I said
Okay.
2023.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah. But this is one of those ones where I was surprised that they started for the men's rumble. It's just one of those ones, but still one of those ones that was a lot of fun. And you had Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens in the title match, which I thought was a pretty good match. And yeah, this was one of those ones that I thought was a very solid like rumble matches, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And yeah, like, well, I'm probably on the minority where, for a most part, I did slightly enjoy the Bray Wyatt LA Knight match, but once again, I know it's like generally a bad match as well. Like, it could have been better. But Jacob, what do you say about Royal Rumble from 2023?
So I forgot about the Mountain Dew pitch black nonsense, but the rest of the show is actually quite good, so good that it almost cancels that nonsense out. So despite all that, I'm going to say yes.
JDH, what do you say about Royal Rumble from 2023?
This is an easy yes for me. The both Rumbles I thought were very, very good, and the title match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens is really good too. A little bit of backstory about that match too, because I can, going back, it's hard to imagine that, how much the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were grieving at the time, because if you remember, that was right after Jay Briscoe had passed away, and actually their funeral service was actually the very next day, and I actually had an opportunity to meet them and talk to them about that the event, and about how much they knew Jay and how much a friend he was, and so it was really amazing to see what they did in that match, knowing what they were going through at the time. So just everything about that event and that main event made everything going to WrestleMania very satisfying indeed. So it's a yes for me.
Austin, what did you say about Royal Rumble from 2023?
Yeah, no, you had two good, solid rumbles there. As a big Gunther fan, seeing him get in there for the first time and go over an hour and break the record, at the time was great. And yeah, so that was really fun, just on a personal level of that. And yeah, when we found out that Roman Reigns and Kevin was going to be the main event, we knew there was some kind of angle, and the angle with Sammy is great. So ended up being a really good, just kind of sports entertainment, storyline moment. So yeah, no, I mean a good, solid card all around. So yeah, you're going to get a yes. Your mic's off.
Mike went off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Richie, what did you say about 2022?
Look, the lights up match notwithstanding, it's a shame that one of those last matches, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I like both those guys. Just it's too gimmicky for its own good, but it doesn't overshadow the actual other matches. The men's Royal Rumble's good. Cody finally finishing his story. Oh no, wait, he didn't. But not this time. But it was still a really good Rumble. Rhea Ripley winning another Rumble. The final Sami Zayn, chair shot where the crowd just exploded. That crowd, that reaction is amazing. The whole build up, that story is amazing. So yes, it deserves to be on here.
That Royal Rumble 23 is going to make the list. Jacob, we go to you for your next nomination.
So, just based on whole show, this might be a bit of a tougher sell, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I'm going the 92 Royal Rumble, the Ric Flair one. And there is a Bushwhackers versus the Beverly Brothers match, which is not great, but the rest of the card's actually quite good. So, if it doesn't get on the list, that's fine. Royal Rumble 92, that's my nomination.
JDH, what do you say about Royal Rumble from 92?
Again, this is one of those events where the Rumble itself is good enough to put this on the list. I also like the fact that Piper won the Intercontinental Championship at this event. I don't know why they had to just, hot potato it to the Mountie. It was just kind of a weird decision that he just wins at a house show beating Bret Hart. But
it involved WCW. It's a long story. I'll tell you later.
Okay. But the Rumble itself is easily good enough to give this a yes and put this on the list in my book.
Austin, what do you say about Royal Rumble from 92?
Yeah, so I'll give it a yes on an asterisk that when we rank these overall, it's probably going to go lower because there's nothing on the undercard to really talk about. Since we're talking about the events in general, I mean, when you get to the individual ranking, rumbles, and you're just talking about the actual matches, sure, this would be like a top three. It's easily the best of the kind of classic rumbles, the most star-studded one. So that'll put it over for now, but don't be surprised if I vote for it near the bottom of the list when we rank it. Let's put it that way. So yeah.
Richie, what do you say about the Royal Rumble from 92?
Yeah, I was thinking of ones from the 90s, and I feel like it's this one, and maybe there's only maybe two that stick out, and this was one of them. But yes, it's for the Rumble match itself. If it wasn't for that, if this Rumble match wasn't memorable, no, this wouldn't be on here. But the Rumble match itself is great, obviously, and obviously that promo, one of the most iconic promos in wrestling at the end there. So yeah, it gets on for the Rumble match, but maybe maybe when we rank them, it might be a bit lower.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that because I specifically asked because I knew I wasn't going to be able to watch all the Rumbles before today, so I specifically asked for some suggestions. This was one of them that was suggested, so I watched it, and yeah, it was fun to actually see the Kiwi Legends, the Bushwhackers, in a match. But yeah, it wasn't that great of a match, but I had fun watching it. But it's one of those ones I kind of wish they'll do the gimmick. I don't know if they'll ever can repeat the gimmick of having the title defended in the Rumble match. But it was kind of a fun twist for it.
Well, they did it. it again in 2016. We might talk about it.
Oh yeah.
They did do that, but yeah, I don't mind them doing that again. Just have the right person win the title, not someone who's the
Sure.
part-timer.
Yeah. But with that, it would have gotten a slight yes from me anyway, so it's going to make the list. JH, what was your next nomination?
So I'm going to go with, in my opinion, the superior Royal Rumble event that happened at Madison Square Garden. I'm going with the 2008 Royal Rumble. I liked both world title matches that took place here. I thought Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy was a really good match, even though I think a lot of people were hoping that Jeff Hardy won the title there. I just don't think the time was right. And the Edge versus Rey Mysterio world title match is also really, really good. It's kind of a hidden gem of that era in world title matches. And in hindsight, I remember, because this was like during the early era of YouTube, so I remember all the early YouTube wrestling reviewers talking about the Rumble when John Cena came back at 30 and how divisive it was. But looking back in hindsight, I think we can all agree that this is one of the best moments that has ever happened at a Rumble. And at the time, I think people thought it just saved the event. Looking back at it now, I think it actually makes this one of the better Royal Rumbles of almost ever. So I'll be curious to see what everybody thinks, because I know that Cena during this era was very polarizing. So I'll be curious to see what everyone thinks. So the 2008 Royal Rumble.
Austin, what do you say about the 2008 Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I think it's kind of an underrated Royal Rumble show overall, and I like that Rumble because it has a nice mix of like you got a lot of young talent in there that are now like the stars of the Rumble. So you had like CM Punk and Cody Rhodes in that Rumble like very early, and now you look at years later and they're kind of the stars of the show. And yeah, you had that kind of series of the legends with like Slick and Piper, Mick Foley, all coming into it. So stuff like that I think is a lot of fun. And yeah, I went back and looked and like dug up like internet archives. Like obviously nobody was predicting John Cena to win the Rumble and come back from an injury 6 months earlier, whatever the hell it was, like something insane like that, and just enter. And yeah, no matter what you think of Cena, it was an incredible moment, a great pop. I think only like 2 people knew about it or something like that. Like they kept it like a super secret surprise. I mean, the pop in the moment alone is incredible. So yeah, and the undercard is solid. So I'll say yes.
Richie, what do you say about 2008 Royal Rumble?
Yeah, when you're able to keep things, especially in this era, if you're able to keep things from the internet, you get a bigger pop. Look at the pop Alexa Bliss got. Fucking hell, like that roof came off the place. So yeah, but yeah, I think this Rumble's good, great, and yeah, the extra undercard is great. Yeah, that's a match where like Rey Mysterio goes for a West Coast pop and he gets caught in a spear, right? That spot's great.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love the Edge around this time as well. So yeah, I'm gonna say definite yes.
Yeah, yeah, and they totally didn't have to leak to dirt sheets like, oh no, we're totally having trouble negotiating with John Cena about him returning. So, but yeah, this is one that I actually just started watching. I haven't actually completely finished it, but I've seen it before anyway. And yeah, which I find it funny once again when you compare it to this year's one. It's like no one was predicting Cena to win this one, but yet everyone was predicting it this year, and he didn't, which is funny dichotomy. But yeah, this Royal Rumble I think was a lot of fun. Like especially just the title matches alone, I think they're a lot of good. I was always a big Jeff Hardy fan. Like I'm pretty sure this was the first Rumble match I actually saw with him, and yeah, but so it's the easiest for me for this one. Jacob, what do you say about 2008 Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I say yes, it belongs here, and I was watching the Wrestling with Regret review of it a couple months back, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's actually some pretty good matches on here, and I just completely forgot. So I'd say yes.
Yeah, and Jonathan Peake says in the chat, apparently Cody Rhodes told a story about Undertaker helping him during the Rumble as well.
Yeah, you can go find him talking about that on stage. Yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah. But if that Royal Rumble 2008 is going to make the list, Austin, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
Well, Jeremy, I'm just going to wind it back 1 year from your pick, and let's go 2007. 2007's Royal Rumble. You have a good opener with the Hardys and Eminem. You have one of my favorite undercard Royal Rumble matches, John Cena and Umaga, Last Man Standing. That match fucking rules. That match is insane. Those guys beat the hell out of each other, and that one got bloody, very violent. I love Umaga, and this might be his like kind of peak, with Cena here. And then come on, you got a great Royal Rumble with arguably one of the great, finishing sequences of all time with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I mean, if you want to talk about maybe the best, final 10 minutes or whatever Rumble, those guys going back and forth with all the false finishes of it. Just a classic Rumble. So, let's go 2007.
Richie, what do you say about 2007's Rumble?
Yeah, I like 2007's Rumble quite a lot, and that sequence at the end is great, and also Cena and Umaga is probably one of the better Royal Rumble undercard title matches I've ever seen. I wish they put the title on Umaga at one point. He was great. Teaser and Mr. Kennedy had a great match. It was solid. I miss seeing Mr. Kennedy on the TV. I love Mr. Kennedy, especially back here. I would say yes.
Yeah. Just so I've got the bloodline. Umaga is the father of Jacob Fatu, isn't it?
Umaga is the. No, I'm not sure where he fit. Jacob Fatu. I don't know. Hang on.
No, Umaga is Solo's dad, right?
Oh yeah.
That's it.
I knew there was some connection with Umaga.
That's why he does the Samoan Spike. It's in honor of his dad.
Right? Also, why isn't it called the Samoan Spike?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is one I definitely remember watching, and I've definitely seen the John Cena Umaga fight many times. And it's one of those ones I actually like the dichotomy of the fact that Undertaker and Shawn Michaels was the last two in this one, the first two in the 2008 Rumble. I wish that they would have kept that tradition on and have the last two be the first two the next Rumble, but whether or not they do that again, I don't know. But yeah, it's an easy yes for me. Jacob,
before I get yelled at in the comments, okay, Umaga is hard to keep track of this damn bloodline. Umaga is Solo's uncle. He's Rikishi's younger brother. They're all related. They're all
and he's the father of Zilla, who is a wrestler but hasn't been signed yet.
Yeah. He's actually Zilla's dad. So that also, if he's brother of Rikishi, may also makes him uncle to the Usos. So there you go.
Yeah.
I
knew it was
the
one of the
ones.
like.
Trying to figure it out. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I knew Umaga was related to one of the either Zilla or Jacob. Talking about Jacob, what do you think of 2007's Royal Rumble?
If this does make the list, it'll probably be low on mine. I see the appeal. I mean, John Cena Umaga, that match absolutely just is awesome. But there's a Bobby Lashley and Test match on here that I personally wasn't all that thrilled about. There was some things I could have done without. So the good stuff is really good. So if it does make the list, I'm not going to question it, but it's going to be low on mine. So yes.
And JDH, what do you say about 2007's Rumble?
Yeah, I liked this Rumble a lot. As kind of everybody's alluded to, the John Cena match really, I think, kind of destroyed the anti-Cena narrative of Cena can't work and Cena's matches are terrible. And I think it just took the right opponent to really bring the best out of Cena's character and personality. And it just shows when he had a really strong character on the other side of the ring with him, he could really put on some great matches. So, and the Rumble match itself is, again, self-explanatory. So, we'll get a yes from me as well.
That Royal Rumble 2007 is going to make the list. Richie, what is your next nomination?
I'm going to bring up sort of a more recent one in the last few years. I'm going to bring up the Royal Rumble that happened right before the world shut down, 2020. I think the Royal Rumble 2020 is really good. It was the sort of dramatic, the stage is set for Drew McIntyre to have this huge run in front of crowds. Didn't happen, but man, the way it was booked was great. him eliminating Brock Lesnar. Yeah, you had Edge's return, which was the crowd went at. So that's just a all-time moment of like the crowd just fucking going mental. He returning after 9 years, thinking he's going to like he's done. And yeah, I ultimately just really liked this event. I haven't so honestly, I don't know. There wasn't much to like in 2020, but the Royal Rumble, definitely the Royal Rumble was one of them. And then yeah, you also you also you had Charlotte Flair winning for the first time. That was and then you had Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan had that really good strap match. I think this deserves to be on this list.
This is one I definitely do remember. Weirdly enough, I remember the Roman Reigns King Corbin match more than anything. But even then, the women's rumble I think was pretty good. A lot of matches I think was fun, and even Becky Lynch and Asuka I think was a really good match as well. So yeah, I'll go yes to the 2020's Royal Rumble. Jacob, what do you say about 2020's Royal Rumble?
Yeah, you're not going to get any argument from me. This is an easy yes.
JTH, what do you say about Royal Rumble from 2020?
So when Edge retired, Drew McIntyre became my favorite wrestler, even during a time where he was doing absolutely nothing. I really liked his work. I liked the potential that he had if they had just let him, be himself much earlier than they actually did. So to have Drew McIntyre finally get that moment where he was going to finally achieve his dream and win a world title was absolutely satisfying for me. And the fact that Edge also came back at the exact same show, so I was getting the best of everything. I was getting the best of my my past and the best of my present as well. So the 2020 Royal Rumble is one of my favorite events of all time. Didn't really want to bring it up because I thought somebody would actually bring it up a little bit before this, but yeah, I have no problem putting this on the list either. It's absolutely a high quality Royal Rumble in my book.
But Austin, what do you say about 2020's Royal Rumble?
Yeah, this is actually, I was watching this men's Rumble the other day, just watching past Rumbles that they do before the main one. And yeah, no, it's great. That pop Drew gets when he eliminates Brock Lesnar is something else. Yeah, a great moment. And when he actually wins, it's a shame. Yeah, the world shut down and he didn't get to have his Mania moment for a while. So that's a shame. But that's another topic for another time. But yeah, the women's Rumble is good. And yeah, the undercard is really solid. Yeah, the Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt stuff is good. So yeah, I'll give it a yes.
But with that, the Royal Rumble 2020 is going to make the list.
Yeah.
But it comes to me. I'm going to go for. I'm going to try and get another 90s one on. And I'm going to try for the other one that I was told to watch. Well, this is what I did. And that's the 1995 Rumble. Actually, no, I think I watched the wrong one. Now I'm looking at the anyway, I'm not going to try for that one. So I think if I watched it, I watched the incorrect one.
If you try for that one, we just watched it for Lonely Marks. It's a very mediocre show.
Yeah,
So, I would say no. Yeah, I literally, it's fresh in my mind. We just reviewed the whole show on Lonely Marks. It's not great.
I'm going to see how this goes. I'm going to try for. If this is a no, it's fine. I'm going to try for this year's Rumble. See how it goes. I know it's probably going to recency and all that. But I think the Rumble match both Rumble matches were really good in this year's one. Like the women's one did have there's a lot of spots. I know people mixed about the big multi elimination in the women's one when Nia Jax sort of took out a whole bunch of people like at the end there, which led to an interesting moment when the ticker couldn't keep up. But
That ticker should have even been in the first place, but I'll get to it.
I kind of liked it. Like I like kind of.
We actually didn't mind
No.
it this show at all. You might be alone on that island, Richie, on Thursday. We'll talk about it.
But aside from the Rumble matches, I think the match between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes was brutal but fun to watch. And just seeing sort of Sammy come out during that, and yeah, and it's just one of those ones. I think it was, and even the tag team match I think was really good. So, and it's one of those ones like I know everyone's expecting Cena to win, but I really like the fact that it wasn't like two Rumbles where it's like a super big star winning. I kind of like the fact JSU is finally going to get to be in the main event of WrestleMania. So well, at least again, I know he was technically main event on one of the nights of one of the Manias, but I think this is just one of those ones. Like I think it was just really good for him, and yeah. So where these winners are going to go, we don't know yet. But we'll see what happens. Jacob, what do you say about this year's Royal Rumble?
So I have thoughts, but the time is limited. So based on the strength of the Cody Kevin Owens match by itself, I'm gonna say yes. But those Rumbles are frustrating. So if it makes it on there, it's going to be low on mine, but that's just a me thing. Cody and Kevin was awesome, but I don't have the time to talk about it now.
JTH, what do you say about this year's Rumble?
I think the Rumble itself is actually quite good. The issue is, of course, the fact that it was just yesterday. It's just fresh in my mind to think that if it's one of the better Royal Rumbles of all time, it's one of those things where I feel like I need to like have rewatches of it and let it sink in a little bit longer before I actually have a more thorough feeling about where it ranks amongst other Rumbles. So for now, I'll say no, but over time, it could be a top 12 Rumble, at the end of the day, but it's too recent for me to actually think that it's one of the better ones for now.
Austin, what do you say about this year's Rumble?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's too recent. Too recent. I need to have that rewatchability factor. A lot of these Rumbles that we talked about, or some of these matches on these Rumbles, are ones I've go back and watched and have that replay value. And that's what kind of determines those ones that really stick with me. So while I very much enjoyed the show, we'll talk about it on the Lonely Marks on Thursday. I can't sit here and say it's one of the best ever without that replay value and kind of marinating on what happened. So I'll say no for now.
Yeah. And Richie, what do you say about this year's Rumble?
Yeah, if we did a redux, maybe in a couple of years down the road, there's probably maybe a decent possibility you can make this list. But it's just hard for me to put it in like an all-time sort of list when I've only just seen it. Like there's I think from my positives definitely positives outweigh the negatives as far as I know. But it's not like I just don't know where I would put it in amongst the other Rumbles. So just because I'm so unsure, I would say no.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's one of those ones. I only brought it up because I got myself flustered. I was like, I was like, I wanted to talk about it. But Jacob, we're going to go to you for your next nomination.
So for my next one, and this, I was tied in between a couple ones. I am going to throw out there the 1998 Royal Rumble, the first one, well, technically, second one that Stone Cold Steve Austin won. But I would throw the casket match that The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels had in there, the one that Shawn broke his back in there too. I thought that was very good. The casket on fire, that was very nice as well. So if it doesn't make it on the list, I won't be heartbroken, but I'm going to throw the 98 Rumble out there, see what happens.
JDH, what do you say about 98's Rumble?
So it was going to be the next one that I nominated. Again, it's not top tier for me, but there's definitely enough good on this show that I actually would put it on here. Obviously, the casket match it might be more memorable now than it is great, kind of like the Montreal Screwjob, where it's more memorable than great. The Rumble itself, I think, was really good. The Ken Shamrock Rock match was what it was. Obviously, it had that screwy finish just to set up a WrestleMania match. And I'm not going to lie, I was actually kind of a sucker for the Mexican minis. I actually always liked that era of wrestling at the time. So to see a 8 or 6-person minis tag match was actually kind of fun. It kind of just lightened the mood of the event. I'll say 98 deserves a spot on here.
Austin, what do you say about 98's Royal Rumble?
This is certainly an Attitude Era Royal Rumble event. That's for damn sure. Because you got minis matches, you got DQs on pay-per-views, you got caskets getting set on fire, you have Stone Cold Steve Austin winning a Rumble, with a bunch of dorks in the middle of it. Listen,
formerly known as Goldust, which is
this is definitely like this screams like Attitude Era with Vince Russo writing all over it. But it's fun. Again, it's one you can go back and watch as like a time capsule of the rise of kind of the Attitude Era and whatnot. So again, it probably won't be high on this top 12. I'll give it a slight yes.
Richie, what do you say about Royal Rumble 98?
Yeah, I mean, I know we've got a couple of era ones, but I think this was one of a solid card overall. While I was not sort of enamored by the actual Royal Rumble itself, I feel like it probably has an issue with some of the other Royal Rumble matches that are weaker, where it's it's pretty obvious when there's not a lot of other possibilities. I enjoyed the card itself, and I'll give it kudos too. It's one of the best wrestling posters I've seen, with the nails in the back of Austin's head.
Hellraiser kind of poster.
The poster is fantastic. So yes, I'll say yes, definitely.
I know I haven't seen this one, but eventually we'll see it, but it does definitely sounds interesting to me. I eventually check it out. JD, we go to you for it. But this 98 Rumble is going to make the list. JD, go to you for your next nomination.
So I'm going to throw out another one kind of in that era, but a couple years later. I'm going to throw out the 2003 Royal Rumble, as I think the Rumble itself is really solid. Had a good winner with Brock Lesnar. The WWE title match with Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit is one of the best matches that ever happened at the Rumble. And again, I'm kind of a sucker. I actually really liked the Brock Lesnar Big Show feud at that time, even though you could say the matches themselves weren't really that good. I think it really got Brock Lesnar over, the character Brock Lesnar over, with a character like with Big Show and with Paul Heyman kind of going against him. It kind of really solidified Brock as a main eventer at that time. Of course, didn't last very long. He was gone shortly thereafter, but it was what it was. But this is one of the Rumbles that I actually rewatched the most during that era. Of all the events that took place at that time, the Royal Rumble was kind of one of my favorite events to go through. Triple H, Scott Steiner, we'll just forget that ever happened.
There's that.
Objectively horrible match. So bad they chose to do it the next month, but
which is also not good.
A tick better, but you could throw that out. I mean, it's still one of the better Rumbles, I feel, in my opinion. So I'll give it a shot. I'll throw it out there. I'll see what everybody else thinks.
Mm-hmm. So it goes to me. Jeremy, you stole my next pick. I was going to bring up 2003, so you're going to get a yes from me because I was going to bring up again. If you have a really fun Rumble and at least one great undercard match, in this case, you have that because you have a really fun, entertaining Rumble. With the Brock Lesnar winning the Rumble again. The run from 01 to 07, 08, all the Rumbles are really fun to watch. I think they're all really well booked and entertaining and fast paced, and they're really good. And then come on, that Benoit Angle match is like a 5-star match. I don't care what Dave Meltzer says. Kurt Angle had many 5-star matches. This is one of them. And yeah, that match alone is worth the price of admission. And you know, I'll go and watch Triple H Scott Steiner because I love like wrestle crap wrestling, and like that is some legendary bad wrestling. It's not like boring. It's just fascinating to be like, man, you guys thought this was gonna be good. Like,
At least he didn't fall off the road.
You know, and it's funny. You put like 1997 Scott Steiner in with like 1997 Triple H, probably be a really good match. But yeah, you put like 2003 Triple H in with 2003 Scott Steiner, and it's just a disaster. But it's a really entertaining disaster. So I'll even credit that towards the watchability of the Rumble. So I'll say yes to 2003.
Richie, what do you say about 2003's Royal Rumble?
The funny thing is, it's not the only wrestle crap thing on the show. Like that, I have fun even though because of the stupid soap opera storyline. Tori Wilson and Dawn Marie is fucking such a such a soap opera, weird, like such a very like very attitude era-ish storyline where Dawn Marie hooks up with Tori Wilson's dad and then he dies. I was like, it's so ridiculous.
You're making me regret this choice.
I'm entertained by it. I was entertained by it. Like I was like, yeah, and I like when they built it up. So yeah, and then Triple H Scott Steiner. Yeah, it's good. It's a fascinating watch. Yeah, like a guy who's so over, like when he comes over when he debuts at the Survivor Series, and then just to get Steiner such chance during the match. But the actual Royal Rumble is great. Even though if you know who's going to win, it's like but it's still fun. Like you see like the early stages of like rapper John Cena. Going out there. I think B Squared's in there too. Remember B Squared?
Oh yeah, he comes out to his own music.
Yeah. And then the Benoit Angle match is fantastic. Like I think Benoit even gets like a standing ovation at the end. That match is one of my favorite matches that I ever. These guys could do no wrong. Their matches were fire every time. I loved it. So absolutely. Yes.
I know I've seen this one because I randomly own it on DVD. But for the lot, and I remember enjoying the Rumble match. I don't remember much of the other matches, to be honest. But I'll give this a slight no. But I don't have any issues with makes the list. Jacob, but what do you say about Royal Rumble from 2003?
Yeah, Angle and Benoit really saved this whole thing, and the actual Rumble match itself was pretty good. So I'm going to say yes.
That Royal Rumble 2003 is going to make the list. Also, go back to you for your next nomination.
You go,
I think I should be able to close it out with this one. Let's go 2017. 2017 Rumble overall. Again, a Rumble with a really good, entertaining undercard and a good solid Rumble overall with Orton winning. Charlotte Flair and Bayley have a good match. You have Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns in like a no DQ match. It's bonkers. Like Jericho in a shark cage. It's insane. But it's like pure sports entertainment. But it's really entertaining. Neville and Rich Swann have a good match buried in the middle of the card, that like unfortunately didn't have a lot of heat, but like they're right there. And then John Cena and AJ Styles having arguably their best match in their series of matches. I think they have an outstanding match at the Royal Rumble. That it's the infamous one where they didn't even leave the ring. They kept it all in the middle of the ring, and it was excellent. And then you have a really good, again, 2017 Rumble. So I think overall just top to bottom card, really, really solid. So let's go 2017.
Richie, what do you say about 2017's Rumble?
Yeah. Was this the one where like people were wondering what number 30 was, and it was Roman, and then people were like, boo! No, we want Daniel Bryan or something.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been worse. It could have been Logan Paul, but I digress.
Hey,
but you could be Rey Mysterio in 2015 or whatever. So,
well, he wasn't number 30 though.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
He was number 30 in 2014 though. if that's
I think Goldust got the same booing treatment one time too because he wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I like this Rumble a lot, and yeah, Randy Orton wasn't like this obvious choice as well, which is good. And yeah, no, and yeah, like Cena AJ Styles was great. Kevin Owens continuing a streak of not being in the Rumble, but being in a WWE Championship match. I won't be surprised if in 2026 he's in a WWE Championship match and also loses again. Just they like putting WWE Championship matches on Royal Rumble, but yeah, that match was really good. So yes, I'll say yes.
And actually, funny thing about that championship match, it's the complete reverse of 2023 because 2023 Roman was a champion, while Kevin was a challenger. Now this one was the reverse. Kevin was a champion at the time, and Roman is the challenger. But yeah, no, I definitely remember watching this. I definitely remember seeing this Rumble. And yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. And yeah, that Neville and Rich Swann match was a lot really good. And yeah, and even the actual Rumble match itself, I think is really is really fun to watch. So I'm going to give this a slight yes. Jacob.
Oh, me. Yeah. That's the whole story of that cruiserweight division. Like good matches, but like
buried in the card. Yeah, in like dead spots in the middle of the card. Yeah, or in like the pre-show.
King of the Cruiserweights, Neville was underrated in my opinion, but that's a story for another time. This is going to get an easy yes for me.
Yeah. And JJ, what do you say about Rumble from 2017?
So it's kind of funny because we're watching this event in the live feed when Renegades Reacts actually were reacting to the wrestling pay-per-views, and I remember that moment when Roman Reigns came in at 30 and just the disgust that was just oozing off their face, and when he eliminates the Undertaker, and it's like I didn't want to see that, what it was setting up. I just didn't want to see it, but the match itself was fine. And the AJ John Cena match is definitely a excellent match with John Cena winning. So yeah, it would definitely get a yes for me. It's definitely not top tier, but it's good enough to make the list.
Da-da, da-da. Da-da.
Sorry,
there was nothing worse than
there
was nothing worse than that music back then when you didn't like Roman Reigns. They hear him coming out.
Yeah.
I remember there's even clips of people watching in like bar and then like in bars and just see the people like, oh no,
the only thing even worse than hearing that theme was Michael Cole trying to build him up like everyone loved him.
Yeah.
The one thing I remember about this, I remember being equally pissed because Roman Reigns was literally just in a championship match and he just randomly gets.
Yeah, I hate that. If you're in championship match, you gotta be in Rumble.
Yeah.
There's still videos you can find on there from YouTube from people like live, how people film the entrances now for like number 30 or whatever, and people going, "Oh fuck you, fuck no."
Don't
it's
do
really,
that.
really funny.
2022, take notes.
Yes.
But with that is the end of this. Richard, did you have any honorable mentions?
2002 is good. When Triple H won, you had Mr. Perfect have a decent run, and then all that, and decent cut Rock and Jericho. I think Taz and Spike Dudley were the tag champions at one point, and they had a match there I thought that was pretty good. 2004, I talk about. I mean, not just with the Roman match alone. I know sort of right from history because of who won it, could be a while, but it's still a good Rumble match. I honestly, 2010 Edge winning. I think Edge winning the Rumble. I think that's a good Rumble, and because I don't think that was kind of expected either. So those ones, but I'm sure there's other ones I haven't mentioned either. As long as you didn't mention 2022, which I think is the worst one. I hate that Rumble. Yeah.
I mean that was like way down the list that I but like for me, something I mentioned that I had was Royal Rumble 2024. I thought was pretty solid. And I actually really enjoyed 2009's Rumble pay per view because I thought that was fun, even though it was kind of obvious that Randy Orton was going to win, considering with everything that they went through. You can go back and hear all about my thoughts about that on Spear from the past, because that's the only other one we've covered so far. And yeah, a lot of the other ones I had on my list. And I'll give a dishonorable mention to 1988. Yes, it was the first one, but
It's
it's a
bad.
really boring pay per view.
Yes.
That's fine.
It's a boring show. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got like 10 to 20 minutes of like this weightlifting thing with Big
Dina
Girl.
Bravo, and somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jacob, do you have any honorable mentions?
Shout out to 2006 with Rey Mysterio going at number 2 and lasting the whole thing, an hour and 1 minute and something like that.
JDH, did you have any honorable mentions?
The only other one off the top of my head that I actually really enjoyed was '96. I know that's kind of a hot take, but I liked that Rumble with Shawn winning the Rumble for the second time, and I really liked the Bret Hart Undertaker world title match. Again, it had a screwy finish with the DQ, but you know, it was what it was. It was something that I could look past, especially since we knew what it was building to.
And Austin, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, the only other one I was going to bring up is another older one. Is the 1993 show. I remember we watched it for Lonely Marks, and I texted like our guys in our little private chat, and I'm like watching the undercard, and like before the Rumble gets, I'm like, guys, this show's really good. Like the Steiners and the Beverly Brothers have like a really fun opening match. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty have a really good match in the middle of the card, like one of their classic. And then Bret Hart and Razor Ramon had like a title match that was quite good. And then the Rumble was like meh. It was like the Rumble was one of the worst things on the show. But that was like one of the ones that was flipped where the undercard was excellent. And the Rumble was like a Rumble full of geeks, just full of dorks, left and right, with like 3 stars. It's the same with 95. We just watched that one as well. It's like an undercard full of or Rumble full of dorks with 3 A-list people. So but yeah, but it's still a fun time capsule.
But that is it. We've got the 12, and just to recap the ones we've got on the list, we've got 2001, 2018, 2000, 2005, 2023, 1992, 2008, 2007, 2020, 98, 2003, and 2017. A good range of eras here, but Jacob, what do you have for number 12?
Number 12. Where is it on this list? I'm blind. 2007.
JDH, what do you have for number 12?
I'm going to add a 1 in there. I got 2017.
Austin, what do you have for number 12?
Because it's a one-match show, 92.
Richie, what do you have for 90? For number 12.
Well, you answered it for me, 92.
I also said 92.
It's a one-match show. There's nothing on the undercard. That's that automatically puts it near the bottom for me. So, yeah, do the rank 'em where we talk about the actual Rumble matches. It's a whole different story. You flip that.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely got it on my short list. JDH, what do you have for number 11?
Sticking with 17.
Austin?
98.
Richie?
98.
I'm going 2020. Jacob?
07 again.
JDH, what did you say again?
2017.
2017, so we've got 98 is at 11. Austin, what do you have for number 10?
For this one, I'll go 2017.
Yes, that's a good place for it. I'll go 2017.
I'm sticking with 2020. Jacob
17.
and JTH.
Put a 1 in
2017.
2017, all right.
Richie, what do you have for number 9?
I'm gonna go 2003.
Sticking with 2020, Jacob.
I'm with Richie, 03.
JTH.
I have 2000.
And Austin.
2020.
So I've got 2 for 03 and 2 for 2020. JTH, you're the odd one out. Which one do you want at 9? 2020 or 2003?
I'll go 2003.
That 2003 is going to be at 9. I'm sticking with 2020. Jacob.
Yeah, I'll second you, Malcolm. 2020.
JTH.
Sticking with 2000.
And I'll
Austin
stick with 2020.
and Richie.
I'll give you 2020 here.
Hmm.
Is going to be at 8. I just like the fact that I don't have to erase the entire board for JTH, what do you have for 7?
Staying with 2000.
Austin.
2008.
Richie.
2023.
2005. Jacob.
2007 again.
Oh, we're all over the place.
So I've got 2005, 2007, 2008, 2023. JTH, what did you say? JDH, what did you say again? Sorry.
2000.
And 2000. So chat, the first comment I see that comments either 2000, 2005, 2007, 2008, or 2023 will be the one that decides it. Otherwise, I will quickly set up a rep. So I'm going to do just in case. I know there's people watching, so I know Jonathan Pete's in the chat.
This is a fitting moment for a Royal Rumble countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
And coming in is Logan Paul.
It's Akira Tozawa. No, it's not. It's
I show speed.
Did JPO go nuts when I showed speed was actually
So-
the wrong?
Oh yeah, no, we were all like, just like, are you fucking as many people as they have on the roster, and we're wasting on this? What are we doing? And then I'm showing my girl WrestleMania from last year, and I forgot I Show Speed was on that show also in the damn Prime bottle and got his ass kicked too. I'm like, what is this obsession with this asshole that nobody cares about?
What? He was a great speeder though. That was great. That was worth it.
What's
But with that, at number 7
is
is 2007.
2007.
Okay.
All right.
But Austin, what do you have?
Oh wait.
Richie.
I'll stick with 23.
05. Jacob.
I'm with Malcolm, 05.
Okay.
And JTH.
Still have 2000.
Wow,
05 is going to be at 6. But Richie, what do you have at 6?
I'll stick with 23.
5.
I'll stick with 23.
But what have I done to myself here? Oh no, I was looking at the wrong number. I'm going 2008. Jacob,
2000.
JTH,
2000.
and Austin.
Oh wait, so we have a tie, right?
Yep. So 2008. Richie, what do you have? What one between those two would you want it?
Between 2000 and 2008?
Yeah.
2008.
2008.
Mm-hmm.
You took Mae Young in a bathing suit over Big Dick Johnson.
What can I say? I like older women. No.
Based.
Brian's probably going to clip that out now.
Oh, God.
But Jacob, what do you have at 4?
2000.
JDH.
2000.
That show is fun. You guys are out of your mind. 2023. 2000 is a fun fucking show.
It's in the top 5. Or
2023.
Just because, it's one of the ones I haven't seen. 2000.
Nah.
Ah, shit. Yeah.
When I eventually see it, I'll probably, if it's as fun as.
Should have gone. No, you watched it.
You better undercards.
You put it on number 1 because it's fucking, or number 2. It's fucking good.
Man, what a world we live in. 2000 Royal Rumble is a top 4 Rumble. What is wrong with you?
Well, I'm talking to you specifically, Jerry. Oh, I don't remember not that good. That show's not that good.
Anyway, JD, what do you have?
That show's fucking entertaining from start to finish. Yeah.
I have a 2023.
23.
Richie.
23.
2001. Jacob.
23.
2023 is going to be at number 3.
So what's it down to? 2001.
Yeah. So voting for number 1, 2001 or 2018.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it.
But Richie, what do you have for number 1?
2001.
I've got 2018. Jacob.
18.
JTH.
2018.
Wow.
Wow.
Austin.
Okay. 2001.
So if that 2018 is going to be number 1.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
So it has come down to 2001 and.
No, that was number 1.
You voted for number 1.
That was number 1.
Oh,
So Jacob, what about 2001? So it's 2001. Good.
you can tell I haven't been on Rankum in a while.
Yeah.
He would have voted for 2001 as number 1. So it's
Yeah.
2001 then.
What I was
Yeah.
about to say is you changing your vote to 2001 because of that, Jacob?
No, 2001 would have been my number 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
That's what I was asking.
Because we were voting for number 1 on this past one.
We
You
were
jumped to
voting for number
2.
1, which is what I was getting at.
Oh,
Yeah.
I definitely have not been on Rankum in a while.
But with that, at our list of top 12 Royal Rumbles, at number 12 we've got 1992. At number 8 we've got 1998. At 10 we got 2017. At 9 we got 2003. At 8 we got 2020. At 7 we got 2007. At 6 we got 2005. At 5 we got 2008. So many numbers. At 4 we've got 2000. At 3, we got 2023. At 2, we got 2018. And number 1 is 2001. But with that, that is the end of ranking for this week. Next week, interestingly enough, we get 2 wrestling topics in a row because wrestlers' entrance theme songs won the poll by just one vote.
Like the center. Yeah.
But with that, Jacob, we can be upon you online.
YouTube at RyanCam20. I've honestly got a lot of stuff going on there, so just for the sake of time, just check me out if you haven't. I talk mostly movie stuff. Thinking about doing some more wrestling stuff, but I'm kicking that around. But RyanCam20. That's pretty much where I am everywhere.
JTH, we can be upon you online.
Usually it's just here on Rank. Pretty much whenever I'm not on here, nowhere. So I'll see you next time I'm on here, I guess.
Austin, we can be upon you online.
Yeah, 2 main places as far as related to this topic. The Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast. We have our own channel. We link it in the Movie Hero Network Facebook group. You can find a link over there. Myself, Richie, JPO, and Jacob Barber. So we'll be talking all things Royal Rumble, obviously, this week, breaking everything down, plus, whatever the aftermath is on Raw, obviously. And we'll see what happens. So you can join us over there. And then, Movie Hero Network, generally for everything else, including we got an Anchorman recast tomorrow night, another episode of that. Right. So join us for that.
Richie, we can be upon you online.
Yeah, I'll be on Lonely Marks. And so Royal Rumble and why I'm in the minority about the ticker at the graphic on the screen. But it's fine. It's fine. All good opinion, dissenting opinion.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
So opinions make good podcasts. All good. We'll see. We'll do our fantasy draft update as well. Did anyone actually have Jey Uso? I don't know.
Somebody has it on their roster, and then I had his number in the Rumble, so I got a point for that. So yeah. So yeah. There you go.
I had number 3, and Roxanne went pretty far. I don't know if it's but cool.
Yeah.
Check that out. Yeah, and like Anchorman recast. Has JPO given you his list?
He just did right now, literally this second. So yes.
Oh, really? Cool.
It's all in now. Yes.
Cool. All right. Yeah, well, doing that. That should be fun. It's always a fun time. I'm on the ASAT tournament. The second round of that. So check that out. And then it's one of my fights, tier ranker, and all that jazz. So thanks for having me.
And you can find me on Hateful Productions as I host Rankum every week. Next week is Top 12 Wrestlers theme songs. And you can also find me on Spear from the Past. Last week,
just look at me. Just look at me. Just look at me.
The whole damn world wants to look like me. But they don't.
Sorry, Malcolm. It's a running gag on Lonely Marks. Sorry.
Yeah, I just believe it is. But anyway, you can also find me hosting Spear from the Past. Last week I talked about WrestleMania 2 with Ryan Payne. And then next week we're jumping ahead 26 WrestleManias to WrestleMania 28. And I'm going to have JPO and Jacob Barber both on that. One it'll actually be on Saturday for a change, as opposed to. I don't have a normal day for Spear from the Past. But you can find me sort of popping up here and there on Movie Hero Network. I think I'm on a couple of things this week. I'm not sure. Jordan has to make the groups. But until next time, I'm going to show you a clip from a underappreciated Rumble to close off.
Hyde has had a very busy week here in Saudi Arabia. He's had dinner with many